How's everybody doing? Can you hear me? Can you see me? The good old can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you see me? I'm watching Oxford here. I'm watching Oxford and Arsenal and Oxford and Arsenal. Oxford holding their own there very, very well. Very, very well. Good evening, everybody. How you doing on this Monday night? Thank God Monday's done. Monday's done. Thank God for that. And I'll tell you in a little bit. I was looking, but I was watching the footy and I was setting up. So Vim, Mandy, how you doing? Steve-O, Kirsty. I think that was you, wasn't it, for a little bit? I saw you talk about Punky again. I saw Punky crop up again. Punky. Karina, Alex, how you doing? Good to see you. Casper, how you doing? Good to see you. How yous all doing this evening? Monday is done. Steve's first day back at work. And I did see the comment, Steve, that you're in bits in terms of was it your back and your legs are in bits? But everybody loved Ruby. Everybody loves Ruby, which is good. So yeah, you've had your painkillers. Get yourself a little drink. Get yourself a little rum or something. Cheers, everyone. Number 16, Rum and Banter. Daniel will hopefully come in. I'm not sure because we're trying to work back the times there, actually. But cheers, everyone. Number 16, Monday, done. Done. Monday is done. That is nice rum. So, because I reckon he said he'd be finished doing what he was doing by 5 o'clock, which would make it 10 o'clock our time. I'm doing my maths there. Of course, it would 5 and 10. Why am I doing that on my fingers? 5 hours in front, behind. So I'm not sure whether he will make it in because I think we'll be done by 10. You know, we'll try and do about an hour, don't we? About an hour and 10 minutes or something like that. Is a normal sort of rum and rants. So I'm not sure if he'll get in because I know he's doing his neighbour's path, isn't he? Nick, how you doing? 3:30. 3:30 in Maryland. Is it right now? 3:30, yeah. And I think he said he'll be done by 5. So I don't think he'll get in, actually. And he was wanting to, because when we were chatting on the phone, he'd said that he'd obviously got the extra work to do and that it would be easier for him to hop onto my stream. And he was obviously going to try and get some content from building the deck for his neighbour. So, you know, we'd be busy uploading that rather than going live on his channel and all the rest of it. Not that it's difficult to go live, but I'm not sure whether he will be able to get in. Not sure. If Spencer gets tired. Drinking an energy drink instead of coffee this evening. Fair enough. Are you in as well, Adam? Is Adam in? Did I miss Adam coming in? Sorry, I'm just picking my dinner out my teeth, everyone. Just enjoy that while I do that for a second. I didn't see Adam come in. If he's in, I missed him. Working hard on the 90s big deck. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, they're looking for a handball here. No VAR though, is there? I was tempted by a little sleep when I got in, but I needed to do car stuff. So I couldn't, and then that was frustrating. You know how frustrating trying to get my private reg off my car so I can sell it. How frustrating is that? An antiquated process. So I can't do it online because it's not valid. It says it's not valid. I think it's because I hadn't declared it as SORN. The tax only went out of date on the 31st of December. And since then, I haven't declared it as SORN because it's in my garage. So I'm not like worried about somebody seeing it and go, that's not taxed. It's sitting in my garage. No one can see it. So I've SORNed it today, SORN, if nobody knows what that means. That means we put it off the road. And it's been put off the road But now it's saying I can't change the registration online. I need to do it via the post. And to do it via the post, you have to fill in all manner of documents, which I've got over here. They're in front of me, but they're all wrapped up, so I'm not going to get them out now. I've put them away in a huff. And you know what you have to send? Because it's £80 to do it. You have to send a postal order, a cheque, or a banker's draft. It's like, oh my God. So now I need to go to the post office to get a postal order for £80 because I can't do it online. It's like, can I not just pay for it online and then send you the stuff? Good old government departments. Some government departments still bloody, they're taking a postal order or a banker's draft. Even when I was talking to the woman at Volkswagen, she said she was just laughing. She goes, "No, it's ridiculous, isn't it? It's antiquated." The GTI, Vin, the GTI needs to go. That, I mean, that doesn't really matter. How long it takes to come off the car. As long as it's off the car, it's off the car. They'll have the car anyway. So that doesn't really matter how long it's going to take to come off the car. As long as it's in the process of being done and the old reg will get reassigned to it, which I think I've still got my old plates in the garage. But I'll take them off. I'll take my reg plates off. DNV, yeah, that DNV, yeah, they're just... They want me to go up there and joust them if any of the paperwork's wrong. And then it's funny, they might want to come and inspect my vehicle. For what? What purposes? What would you come and inspect the vehicle? To check that it's in the state that it's got an MOT, it's drivable, it's sawn off the road, it's something else. We'll come and check your vehicle as well. Will you, for £80? Someone's going to come out and check my vehicle as well. Likely story. So yeah, so that's a faff. And one of my work colleagues was telling me today, so he's just changed his car and he's got a private plate on his car as well. And obviously you can get nice private plates made up. So I had these gel inserts, they're very tactile and they're like raised and they're nice. And mine was about £68. And then you could have had this block stuff, which is even more expensive. I think it's called 4G or something like that. And that's like £70. Well, when he changed his car at Nissan, they said, "Oh yeah, we'll change your registrations over." The registration plates that he'd got on his car, his son had bought him for his 60th birthday, and they were part of his birthday. And they were £70, these reg plates, because they were nice, made up, special registration plates. Nissan chucked them, and he's got just some bog standard registration plates back on his car. So I'm having my reg back. And I'll take it off tomorrow, and I'll find. And even if I can't do it, I think I've got 10 days now. I've like I said, I'm lucky enough to have good parents, and I think I've got the grace of 10 days to wait if that's what they need to do. But she didn't think it would be an issue. She suggested I went down after work, got the paperwork sorted, and then they'd collect it tomorrow. Right, hang on a minute, I've got to get my reg off it and everything. So I'm happy with their offer. And I know I said how much We Buy Any Car had offered, but that just popped out. I was trying to avoid saying money because it's a bit vulgar. But yes, they've offered me a better price for it. And when I go and speak to them, I'm going to try and up them a little bit. But a more reasonable price than what the car's probably worth with all the modifications that's done to it. So, yeah, that was my stressful afternoon. But thank God Monday's done. And I didn't feel well again at work today. When it got to about 3:15, I was like, "Oh my God, why am I feeling ill again? Why am I starting to ache and get hot and all the rest of it?" And I just thought, so that's why I thought I'll come home and I'll just have a sleep. But I couldn't because I needed to start dealing with that. So I'm going to try it again later. I'll try and get it off the car again later. Maybe it'll work later. So how was all of your Monday? So how was it, Steve, then? Did it break your back getting back into work again today? Did it break you? So it's the same as London. That's very good information to have, Casper. That's very interesting facts. You know we love a fact. Very strange rules. Here, you just take the front plate off the car and send it to the it's called the DMV where you are, is it? No. Well, what if only? Well, I've got my retention document. I mean, that was easy to get, my retention document. I had that originally when I from taking it off the last car that I had it on, and I don't remember paying. I must have paid something to put it on, but I don't remember paying anything to get it onto that car. Got my V5s through dead quick and everything, but what a hassle to take it off now because it's not taxed, and I think it's just because it's not taxed, it won't let me do it online. So it thinks there might be something afoot. So it wants to see all the paperwork. They want to see all the paperwork, which I've got to send to Swansea as the crow flies. Send to Swansea and now I need to go at lunchtime tomorrow and get a postal order for £80. I might as well have just paid the tax of £91, and then I could have just not been doing with all of it. No, it would have still. I think it would still cost to get it off onto a retention slip anyway, to take the registration off. So anyway, there we go. It's done. That's my mini rant of that. The DVLA, absolute madness, antiquated system. Why can't DVLA? Why can't you just? That's fine. If I need to send you the paperwork, fine. I got no issue with that. Post, it still works. But gonna just give us the option to pay it online. If we set it all up, say we're going to pay online, give us a reference number. We can put a reference number into your system so you know what we're paying for, and we'll just pay you. Or once we've sent you all the stuff, you can just send us an email with a link to a page, and we'll pay you. Has nobody thought about that? I've just come up with two options, and that's the first time I've thought about it. Crazy. Oh, it's awesome. Oh my goodness. I've only just realized. I've been watching this game all wrong. Have you got the game on? I thought Oxford were in the white because the Oxford strip is very like the Arsenal away strip. Or I mean, yeah, the Arsenal away strip. So I thought Oxford was Arsenal. I've been watching it completely wrong this game. No wonder I thought, oh, Arsenal have been playing. Oxford are playing really well. It's because it's been Arsenal that's been all over them all the match. Oxford are not playing that well. They've very rarely been up the other end. But they know they're in a game. That's what they've been saying. That's funny. That's nearly half time anyway. I thought you were talking to me then. I was going to switch my router off. We'll all go. Everything will disappear. We'll have a Nick situation on our hands there. Nick, when are you going live again, Nick? When's that happening? I know I've asked you that, but I might have missed you putting the answer up. Have you not thought about it yet? We're looking for a live from you, Nick. When are you going live? Be right back. Fine. Go and do some recharging, and then when you come back, we'll sing you a song. Is that what you? Well, I've been watching 40 minutes of it, Nick, before I've realised that that's Arsenal in the white. Because the other thing, because on the TV you can't see the numbers on the shirts. Because I mean, how stupid is that as well? I've got a white shirt with white numbers on the back, so you can't see the numbers. And that's just the Arsenal kit, slightly different Arsenal kit that the Oxford players are in. Their away kit. No wonder. No wonder I was going, to Oxford are playing well. It's because it's Arsenal. Nearly off time anyway, as I said. Nearly off time. Oh, you would have gone live on Friday. And what's your I haven't had any room at all, Steve. That's it. I've just started. Because I'd got the coffee as well. Because I just had my dinner, and I wouldn't drink rum with my dinner. I like a cup of tea or a cup of coffee with my dinner. So I'm still finishing that off. And as I thought Daniel would, might get in, but I don't think he will now. I think we've just got our times a bit mixed up there. I thought I'd have a coffee on the go and all, but my coffee cup is Life is better in flip flops. Because I wear flip flops all the time. I wear my flip flops all the time, constantly in my flip flops. And just kind of tend to expect you to speak German. Okay, you're on the languages. I had a lovely, macaroni cheese, and it's still because I haven't got my cooker turned on. But I had a nice mac and cheese from Marks and Spencer's, the extra special one. It's very good. And then you know what I do if I'm having a mac and cheese? It's already got this crumble layer on the top, right? And then I get some Doritos, lightly cheesy, scrunch them up and sprinkle all that on top as well. Nice. Because my cooker's my hob's still not on. Hob's still not on. Yeah, and you know that's this thing we were talking about yesterday with the magazine, the procrastination. That's pure procrastination on and the kitchen's not finished. But one of the reasons the kitchen's not finished is connected to the reason why I'm selling the car as well, because I never get to a point at the end of the month where I've got money to buy my tiles for my kitchen, for my floor or for my wall and finish it. You know, I fitted this kitchen myself and I've never done that before. And it's not finished because I can't afford the tiles. So I've got my sockets hanging off the walls. They all need to get changed and I want them changed. I had the money for the kitchen, but I didn't sort of think about the tiles. That's what happens when you plan stuff without your wife after nearly 20 years. You don't quite get it all right because it was never you that did it in the first place. You just went, yeah, that sounds good to me. Go for it. Explaining what that meant now. With tea. Full-blooded. You've got Vim in as well. Vim as well. I drive other people's cars, not for work now. Well, what it allowed me to do is, as I'd said to you yesterday with all of this car thing, when I started looking, I made a lot of money on my house in Scotland, which I'd said, not a lot of money, a good bit of money, right, from my house, from the sale of my house in a very short period. But that's because somebody wanted it and they gave me what I asked for it. So I made a good bit of money on that. So I had the money sitting. What I wanted was a Mark V Golf GTI, and this is not a Mark V. This is the Mark 6 here, and I had a Mark 6. So this is one of the brochures of a Golf GTI Mark 6, which I'll keep obviously because those will be a rare thing to find. So I had the Mark V version of that. Oh, I've got a Mark V here. That's one of my models. That's what I had. That was my original, exactly the same as that. My Mark V, first Golf GTI Mark V, without the sunroof. I didn't have a sunroof on mine. Oh, okay. So that's my Mark. That was the same as mine, right? That's why I've got that. And that's what I was going to buy. And you can get one of them for between £3,000 and £7,000. Right. But I didn't, because then I started seeing the Mark 6. You could get a Mark 6, actually, if you've got the money, you could get a Mark 6 for about 8 or 9 grand. Or between 10, 11, you could get a good one, a Mark 6. And then I thought, if I'm going to get a Mark 6, I can afford to go even up and get the Mark 7.5. So that's what happened. That's what happened, basically. I didn't need to go that high. I didn't need to spend that much money. The idea was always to get a Mark 5. So it might be that that's what I do, because my other car's lease, and I've took that for another 2 years, and the lease and that will be up in August next year. And I'll be sad to see that one go, because I am connected to that one. I've had that one for 5 years. It's been the constant in my life for the last 5 years, and a lot's happened in that time. So I'm definitely connected to that car. There's no way I can buy that because I don't have the option to do that at the end of it. It just goes back to them, and then I'm sure they will put it in an auction. And actually, I probably couldn't afford that car now because that'll probably still fetch quite a big amount of money because it's the Golf R and it's low mileage. Low mileage because I've not been anywhere in it. So it'll be a little bit of a steal. I always think that about lease cars if they've not been driven about. A lot of people keep them for 2 years, barely drive them, and then somebody gets them as a steal at auction, don't they? But I've got options then. But what it means is I can just relax and I can not worry about money, which I know a lot of people do, and I do, and I have done even when me and Suzanne were together. There were times when we had money issues just because of the way the world was, and we were fortunate enough to both have really good jobs. So actually, in the end, we were more stable. But I've obviously come back 10, 15, 20 steps back to the unstableness again. And just trying to balance it off. I've only been back at work since July, and I was off for nearly a year with mental health problems after the breakup. And just, I didn't need to work because I had money in my bank from the sale of the house. So that's a big, long story. I don't even remember where it started. Oh, about the car. So I've said to them, if you find a nice red Mark V Golf GTI, if anyone brings one of them into Volkswagen in Telford, then tell me. And I probably would buy one of them and keep it in my garage because I could justify the cost of that. And then I could sawn it if I needed to. If I thought, well, I'm not going to use it for 6 months, I can sawn it and I can insurance, blah, blah, blah. And the insurance would be cheaper because it's an older car. Yeah, I love the Mark V's. Mark V's are my favourite. That was where it started. And the thing is about the Mark 7.5, which is the one I'm selling, they're very similar. They've been, they're renowned. They're not renowned, or they're well talked about. Everyone that knows Volkswagens or likes the Volkswagens have connected the two. There was a bit of a change between the Mark V, the 6, the 7, and then the 7.5. And the 5 and the 7.5 are very similar. And I've made that connection as well. And that's why people like them, and that's why I like it. But I think I will if I can get myself a nice 7.5. You know what I'd really like? A Fiat Abarth, but they're expensive. But they're little pocket rockets, the Fiat Abarths, aren't they? Ah, yeah, cups of tea we drink by the bucket, yeah. Gotta love Ian Wright, haven't you? Aha. Well, what's his face said? Frankie Bull, you sound like a moderately powerful Pokemon. You look like a moderately powerful Pokemon. Yeah, and I do pretty much, Casper, but that's why I've got to the point, and I have done for maybe 3 months, 4 months. That's why I've got to the point going now. Now it seems crazy to continue living like that, only having a certain amount of money left at the end of the month, which is just like, oh, well, that'll just see me safe in case anything happens until I get paid again. But actually, I can't go and buy myself something, or I can't go out and do something, or I couldn't buy something for the car, or I couldn't buy something for the house. And I can't justify that anymore when I've got X amount of thousands of pounds sitting in a garage that doesn't get used. And although I would love to keep it, I can't. Cleaning up your job site, you hope everyone is well. It's a good job your job site's next door and you've not got a long commute home. Or have you got a long commute? Your next door neighbour might be 5 miles away. How long's your commute back home, Daniel? Flat fix it again tomorrow. Parted with royalty. Oh, have you been homeless? Right. Yeah, I don't expect I'll get to that point, but that was always the thing in my head. That was one of the many reasons that helped me to purchase it when I purchased it, which was that, see, if I need the money, I'll just sell it. see if I need the money at some point in the future, then I'll just sell it. And I made it a year. I got through a year with it, and it's only really been in the last few months when the insurance stopped because it wasn't getting used, and then the tax ran out, and then it should have gone to get a service, but I couldn't take it on the road because it wasn't taxed and it wasn't insured, and then the tax ran out on the 31st of December. So it's still MOT'd, so it's fine. But the dealership were just worried about the remap warranty, but the remap has got a warranty. It's a lifetime warranty on the remap, and it is professionally done. But they can't warranty from their point of view. They can only offer it up. That's why they couldn't give me any more than that they've offered me for it. A Virgin are doing works in the area, wrecking the place. Did he say what his commute was? Did you say what your commute was, Daniel? Is it literally just, are you walking back home, or have you got to go? Oh, no, you can't go in your truck. You've got no brakes. Unless you're using Holly's car. What are you using, mine? Or are you literally walking the stuff over there? I know the Arius estate is at least 75 acres. So I don't know how close your neighbour would be. And your neighbour might be in the next state for all we know. I did. That's who's taking it off me, Steve. That's who's having it. The VW dealership in Telford. They are having it. They've made me a very good, reasonable offer, which, like I said, I've said I would be happy to take that. But when I go down there, there's nothing agreed. I've not signed any papers. I've not done anything else. I've not said I will take that. When I go down there, I'll go, what about this price? And see what happens. But what they've offered me, if it turns out to be that, that's what I'll take from them. And it's much better than what We Buy Any Car offered, because they're just putting it for what it is, the trade. And I do want I want somebody that likes Volkswagens to get it, rather than somebody to get a steal in a trade deal. Spencer be driving. I don't know. What, driving Daniel? I'm slightly confused by that. What do you mean? Is Spencer helping Daniel do the driveway, do the decking? I'm slightly confused. Oh yeah, did you see that as well? We're launching our. What is that done? That thing? Have they done it? Well, we're not launching our first. We're going to have our own satellites in space now. The UK, the first time the UK's had its own dedicated satellites in space. They're getting launched tonight, off on the bottom of a 747 is going to launch them. Normally, these launches normally take place in California off the bottom of a plane, but they're doing it in Newquay tonight. See that on the news? Is that away? It must be. It must be away by now. So there we go. We're going to finally get some answers. We're going to have our own satellites in space for the first time ever. The UK, its first satellites in space. Are they doing it together? Are Daniel and Spencer doing that decking together? I don't remember him saying that to me at all. What are you doing? What are you doing? Hey? Yeah, well, that's what I'm asking you. I'm asking you what you're doing. You're catching my eye, so you must be doing something, lady girl. Uh-huh. Hello? Come on then. Oof. Spencer's card needed fixing as well. Did it? Oh, you'll follow the launch. What time is it? What time's the launch? It's at 23:13 your time. And how does that translate to our time? 23:13. I think they said on the news it's going to be the weather's not going to be really that good to see it in Newquay. But yeah. I don't think he's really got 75 acres. I think I was just making that up. I always take the mickey out of him when he says about when I talk about Arius's palace, where he's got his elephants roaming, his free-range elephants roaming about. 10:15, right? So just before 10:15, 13 past 10 as the crow flies. What did I say there? I'll have to watch that back. I can't even remember what I said now. Crow flies. Right. Okay. Just an hour. First launch from European soil. Usually they use French Guyana in South America. Yeah, California. They were showing the aeroplane. They were showing this kind of launch getting done in California. That's where they've done them from in the past, and that's where they were doing them from. What were you losing the plot about? Oh, they are doing it together. He was assisting. Oh, did he say he was assisting? Right. Okay. Oh, Ruby, you on the TV? Look. Yeah. There's my Ruby, Steve. There's my version of a Ruby. Luby Lou. Luby Lou, as she gets called. Where are you going? Right. Because there's no real space there for you to go. Because she'll just sit in front of my face. Attempting to help gets film of him attempting to help. Well, she's just come down from Camden Town. She wears all black and you'll never see a frown. And we all shout when she comes round. Kirsty, where's your chargers? Kirsty, where been your chargers? Fine on that one. Hang on a second. I'm getting pictures sent to me. Ooh. Ooh. Have you done all that today? Daniel, that's pretty good. Or was that the old one? All right, I see. Oh, there's some burning going on as well. I can see some burning getting done. What is that there? He sent me some pictures. I'll show it quickly because I'm sure I don't want to give anything away because he might want to show these himself of the work he's been doing. Ooh. Looks like a big old deck. ECK looks like a big old deck. On mute, off mute, on mute, off mute. Look at that information about space getting done there. That's funny that you always mention that jacket, Steve, when Spencer's on. Bless you, Ruby. Second half's on here, by the way. Is anybody else? Are you watching the football, anyone? It's on number 3, ITV, it's on. So how was it? Oh, Adam, how you doing? Good to see you. How was everybody else's Monday? All right, it's good getting Monday out of the way, isn't it? It's a funny thing about the Mondays. If you're a 9-to-5er, because I know some people are not 9-to-5ers. They don't have that luxury. They have to work every day or they work weekends. Having done both, I would say 9-to-5 is definitely a luxury compared to working shifts. But you start living for the weekend. And there's always that thing about, oh, Monday. But mine was okay. It was a bit busy, and one of my team again. There's a board at the front of there's a board with everyone's name on it, who's on shift, who's going to be in the building, and I write it up on a Friday so that everyone can see who's in. So one of them clearly would have seen his name on the board, didn't tell me he was in. I'm expecting him to come in 45 minutes late. I'm going, where is he? Not in. Check the holiday roster on the actual system. Not in. Got to put a holiday in. I was going mental. I was going mental. I slammed my door and everything. Ah! Why do people say they've seen the board? Why didn't somebody tell me what he wipe his name off or something? At least I'd have known that he wasn't in. Anyway, that was a little rant from earlier on this morning. Oof, Oxford trying to get a cheeky goal there. Barnesy, how you doing? How you diddling? You got a lot done, did you, Adam? Excellent. Hi, you know, that's what I do when I'm in the comments as well, Casper. It happens on this side as well. The effect of it from this side is you say something and then you're reading the comments like 10, 15, 30 seconds later and it's related to what you were talking about and you go, what does that mean? You have to try and remember what you were talking about. But I'll get it in the comments as well. You put your comment up and you go, oh, it's we're past that now. The joys of the live stream. The joys of the live stream. Hang on a second. I need to get this cough done. I can hear her, but I can't see her. She's making some matter noise. Ha! You've got to call a deal like Mr. Bean. But you didn't want to poke the bear. No, it's probably not a good idea. I've not even got the live chat on. This whole time, I've not even got the live chat on. Live chat. Just a big arse. Arse! Oh, Arsenal. These white numbers, you can only see it when it's right on them. The white numbers on the backs. That's crazy, that is. Crazy. So tomorrow, hopefully, I'll be able to... I'm going to go to VW after work and see what they're saying. Obviously, I can't take the car to them, but they can bring it back to them because they can have plates on, taxed plates, aren't they? As she referred to them, that they can put on the car to drive it back to their gaff. It's not far, but I wouldn't drive it down. It's a bit too far for me to drive without tax or insurance to take it to them. I'll do that tomorrow after work, and I'll see where we're at with that. And hopefully that'll be fine, and because then I can do other projects for this channel then, because I did want to film myself putting in the kitchen in the first place because I thought that would be an interesting thing to put on a video because I've never fitted a kitchen before. And it's fine, it's not perfect, but I thought, where am I going to put that? I can't put fitting a kitchen on SDW77. My God, you imagine if I'd have put that on SDW77? They didn't like me doing football reactions, let alone fitting a kitchen. So I can film myself doing the tiling for it and doing other bits and bobs that that I can't really afford to. I can't justify the expense at the end of the month just in case I need some emergency money that I sort of hold back just in case anything crazy happens. So I'll be able to use that, reinvest that a little bit without going mad again into projects, the finishing off the house, because it's not properly finished. Because like I said, I just sort of ran out of money. I've done the most of it. I did everything in here, refloored it, replastered it, repainted everywhere, new blinds, new sockets. What else did I do? New kitchen. Is that all? And it's, yeah, basically just gutted the place out. It was a bit early 2000s, so I just gutted it when I got here. I don't know. I don't think they have to be assigned to you, Steve. I don't know, Steve. Don't know. But I don't mind. They said they'd come and get it. They just said they'd get, they just said they'd come with an extra driver and they would just put the plates on. They'll just take it away. That's fine. They know what the car is. I've told them what it is, and they know what it is. It's the rare color as well because you don't get many of them in the color that it's in. So they know what the car is. They're not. It's not going to. I don't think them seeing they're going to offer more money from seeing it. So they know what a GTI is. They've also they know what a GTI is that's been modified a bit, and I've told them what the modifications are internally and externally. So no, I'm happy with that price. And like I said, I knew I would make a loss on the car. I didn't think I would get my money back for it because that just doesn't happen when you buy a car, does it? Unless it turns into a classic overnight and then becomes in demand. So it's fine. It's fine. I've done it, Steve. I did it ages ago. It's fixed. It's in. It's done. The only thing I've not done, I need the gas man to come and put the hob on. I need the gas. I need the pipe shortening because the hob's moved about that far down. So where the thing comes up, I couldn't have connected it anyway. But he needs to come and connect it. But the rest's done. I did all my own plumbing. The electrics are in the same place. And like I said, I've done all this electrics I've sort of done before because when we did plastering, we had to deal with the fucking electrics all the time. And it's only really taking the sockets off the wall a bit, but not just changing the actual sockets. So that's easy to do. I've had my fair share of electrocutions, but I'll get stuck right into all of that. I'll do all the woodwork. I've built massive units and cupboards and inbuilt stuff. I watch the people do it. If I watch them do it, then I'll do it. Like strapping and plasterboarding and then plastering the whole in our Victorian house that was hundreds of years old that we lived in. Did all of that. We got quoted 9 grand to get it done. The same as we'd had our bedroom done. We said, can you just do it the same next door? They said, yeah, 9 grand. We went, well, 9 grand. So I did it for 2. That's just the cost of the materials that we needed to do it. Now I can do all of that. I can't actually do electrics because I'm not an electrician. I can't actually do plumbing because I'm not a plumber, but I can replumb the sink back on. That's not difficult. It isn't. It actually wasn't difficult. The units were pre-built, so I didn't have to build the units. They came built. The hardest thing was getting them from walking them around from my garage into the house. So they were all pre-built, so it's not difficult actually fitting the kitchen. And if I did it again now, I'd be able to do it in half the time. Diet Coke moment. Oh, faulting area. Okay. The GTI, the ruby black one. Excel the Golf. I've got 2 Golfs. That's what it is. I've got 2 Golfs. I've got a Golf R and a Golf GTI. It's the GTI that I'm selling. The R is not mine. It doesn't belong to me. That's a lease car. A nice Scooby Forester STI. Yeah. I want my neighbours to like me. I do like a Subaru. Yeah, absolutely. It would be. Electrocutions, that explains a lot. It's only the one I was doing here. It's because it wasn't a socket. That's why, you turn the sockets off so you can do it. But it's not. It wasn't classed as a socket. It was classed as a light because it was turning on the outside. It's the switch to turn on the outside light from the switch outside. So when I touched it, that was. I actually was laughing. It was quite funny. But I have a bash at everything. I can pretty much do everything, apart from actual plumbing and electrics. I can't do that, but everything else I can do: woodwork, plastering, painting, flooring, beading, miters, routering, all of that, fitting kitchens. I've got all the equipment, bought all the equipment. I've got a massive router that I've used twice because I had to route to put the surfaces together. Um, I learned and I learned how to do it from YouTube. How to fit a kitchen. There's people that will show you how to fit a kitchen, and specifically because it was Howden's, how to fit a Howden's kitchen. So it isn't difficult as long as you've got some skill, which I have. I'm not saying I'm brilliant. I've got some skill. I have. It's probably above average, and you need the right tools, as you know, Steve. You need to have the right tools to do a good job, and you can't have cheap tools. You've got to get good tools, which is what I've got. And I love tools. I've got boxes full of Makita tools, big stacks of them, in their big turquoisey blue type boxes, loads of them. And I've got belt sanders and all kind. I've got everything. My old house in Scotland, I completely did the floor, completely put the floor back, and then revarnished it and lacquered it. My God, that was a dusty process. That was very dusty. Pip, how are you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. But I didn't, so I'll come back to see you. Evening all, yes. Evening, Pip, yeah. Got a massive router. Ooh. But it does sound that there is something in that that's a bit innuendo-ish. Tools like me. That's what I've got, Steve. Makita. Thought I could hear somebody crying. Yeah. Like I've got two big stacks. All kinds of stuff. Some of them I've used once because I needed it. But because once you've got the batteries, you don't need to buy one with a battery. You can just buy the unit, can't you? Unit, there's another word. Unit. So yeah, I have got a good few tools, and I do like tools, especially if they're electric. And if you're going to do stuff like flooring and all that kind of stuff, you need good tools. You've got to have good tools, impact drivers and good drills and everything. So yeah, got all that stuff. That's why I try and avoid B&Q if I've got no money, because I could walk around B&Q and definitely find something to get. Nighty, how you doing? Yeah, there's plenty of room in the garage for my golf. There is. Little minx. And there's loads of stuff at the back of it as well. It's a big garage. There's loads of stuff at the back of it. This desk was at the back of it that we're on here. This was in the garage. At the back of the garage. The GTI used to sit in front of this. Oh, the GTI used to sit in front of this desk. Oh, that's a shame. There's a bit of regret coming through already that I'm going to sell it. No, I will be sad. I'll be sad to see it go. But yeah, no, the garage is big enough to get a car in. Billy, 2 garages. No, it's only one. It's only one garage. But they're good sized garages. But people just normally end up putting rubbish in it. And you know what? Mine's got a lot of rubbish in it, but it's all pushed right at the back. And it's it's just big enough, just wide enough. But the length's good. It's got good length, Steve. It's got good length. I ain't missing half the conversation. I had 2 garages. No, they're not. They're not 2 garages. One of them's not mine. Mine's only the one on the one side. I don't have 2. All those garages around there are all for all people's garages. Mine's the furthest one in to the fence. To the fences. That's my garage. The rest, the one next to that is. I won't say his name. I'm not going to say his name on my channel. Next door, my friend next door, and then they must have one, but I don't know what. No, they don't have one around there actually. The third house doesn't. They've got one round there. I know they've got one round there. I don't know whose the end one is actually. I don't know whose all they are, but I've seen some of them getting used, and it's all from the houses that are close by. Obviously, there's more garages over this side. Oh, Arsenal have scored. There's more garages over this side as well, but they are decent. But it's only one, Adam. No, it is only one. I know they look like. I think on one of my videos, I drive in there. You just drive in and see all of these garages. I go, right, which one will I go in today? That one. But no, they're not all mine. They're not all mine. Girth, or you prefer girth? Prefer the girth rather than length. So I've heard that. I'm still trying to see who scored this goal here. Tommy Asu. It looked like the two of them tried to edit. Yeah, 1-0. 1-0 the arse. 1-0 the arse. 2:30 in the morning, you stayed at your brother's house and he took you home about 9 on Sunday. Excellent. Well, that would have been a good night then. North American, gotten. That's a North American word, that is. Gotten. I used to tell off my nurses for using that word, gotten, in their reports. What's gotten? I just go, what does gotten mean? Apparently, it originates from North America. The word gotten, because I looked it up. Because of that, because I kept seeing it in reports, official government reports that we were sending away. Gotten. I've never lived in the countryside, really. But you don't have to drive far from here to be in the middle of nowhere. And the same, that was when I was in King's Swim. You didn't have to drive far and you were in the middle of nowhere, really. Lots of fields and stuff around you. So I appreciate the open space. And it was nice to come back to the open space from living in a city, and a big city like Glasgow. And then I did miss living in the village once I'd lived in the city for a few years. The only good thing about the cities is the access to things. Great restaurants, great shopping, great venues for music and comedy, etc., etc. So that's one thing about living in a big city. In the garage, this is some lube. Yeah, there's some lube in the garage. For sure there is, absolutely. I don't think you missed anything, Kirsty. Oh, you're getting asked about length or girth now, Kirsty. Yeah, there's been a lot of controversy about that, haven't there? I've heard some people on the radio going absolutely bonkers about why and this shouldn't have been done and this shouldn't have happened. They're going to play it again anyway, so it's all by the by now. It doesn't make any difference to anything to shout about whether it should have been a goal or shouldn't have been a goal, or Salah shouldn't have been a goal, or he was, all the rest of it. It is what it is. They'll replay. Same as they know that there's others that will replay as well, won't they? And Villa will go out. The Villa out to Stevenage. And you know what? Because I've obviously listened to a bit on the radio today as well. They were saying, because I thought exactly as they were saying on the radio, is that they probably had a weakened teammate, but they didn't. They didn't have a weakened teammate. Somebody was sent off. I think Dendonka was sent off, but they didn't have a weakened teammate. Stevenage beat their Premier League team, which is the beauty of the cup. It's the one-off game thing, isn't it? Because the teams don't normally get pitched together, you would just think they would never actually beat them. But in a one-off game, that's why we go. Anyone can beat anyone in a one-off game. 96 students, only 4. 200 people in town. Yeah, that's what do small towns, isn't it? That's how it goes. If that's what you're used to, that's what you get used to. I've had the opportunity, and I'm sure you have as well, to live in different places. And I enjoyed living in the city, and I also enjoy living in villages. But I think if that somebody put a gun to my head and said you could only live in one, I would go with the village. and suffer the not being able to get to a fancy restaurant close by, or get to a nice, or get to the shops easy, the good big shops, the good fancy stuff. There is some great games in the next round. They do when you don't have kids, Adam. They do when we did. Me and Suzanne used to go to a lot of these things, but we would make a point of doing it because they were all so close, and we didn't have children. So, and when it's there close by, you do it because it's so easy to access it. It's so easy to access. You just do it because, yeah, I can just go. Yeah, let's just go. 2 minutes in a taxi. Let's go. We can get a drink while we're there. For Ryan Reynolds, you reckon? Then he can make a movie about it. Yeah, good God, do you think he needed money? Nah, in northern Belgium. Still prefer Wales, right? Well, that's nice. What about Kimber? Oh, dissing your Kimber, where you came from. I loved Kingswinford, but that's just because you knew it. But I'm glad I moved away because I've obviously got friends that haven't, and they've never moved away. They've stayed there all their lives. They've never lived anywhere else. I've lived in a few, but I lived in Derby as well, didn't I? I lived in Derby for a year. I lived in Birmingham for a year in two different. Was it two? Did we live in two or three? Three different houses in Birmingham. Well, here we go. Yeah, 2-0 to Arsenal. One was halls of residence and two student houses in Birmingham. And then in Scotland, many houses in Scotland. And then back to England, but of a different part of the Midlands, obviously in Telford, which I'm not sure I'll ever feel fully connected to living in Telford, because it wasn't in the plan, obviously. So I don't know whether I certainly don't feel connected to Telford. I don't feel connected to where I am, but I don't feel connected to anything really. Since what happened, I'm still really trying to come to terms with that and how you go on. But I wouldn't go back to Kingswinford because there's nobody there. Mum and Dad are not there. My brothers are not there. My nephews are not there. So they'd be crazy for me to go back to Kingswinford. So yeah, tis what it is, isn't it? Tis what it is. Liverpool, Man United in the final. No, I think it'll be a Man United, Man City final. Is my guess. Man City, Man United final. Liverpool will get pumped out. Liverpool are not good enough to win stuff this season. You know that, Nighty. Now you still got hope that Liverpool are going to win something this season. Come on, lad. Get some reality in you after what's happened recently. I know it's good to have some faith in your team. Liverpool ain't going to win anything this season. They'll win less than Man United. No, I thought once I saw the fixtures come out, I thought, well, it could be a Man United, Man City final here. It could be, could be. That's triggers. Yeah, well, it's all good for the soul, isn't it? Quiet, peaceful, and reflective. Think about and ponder. That's why I go for a walk and stuff like that. In a quiet place. And I really enjoyed doing my tour, my castle tours before I left Scotland. If you can say that, enjoyed it. I had the opportunity to go and do that. It wasn't like with a big smile on my face, but it was good to go and see these castles and the ruins of the castles. Hate it. It's some very, very strong opinions there. Very strong opinions. But anyone that does live in those places, Adam's not a fan of where you live, everyone. Is that where he's going? Have they just put that up? Well, we were going to get this guy from what's happened there? What's his name? The Dutch player, Weghorst, but they think that might not happen now. I'm sure I heard somebody saying that might not happen now. Might not get Weghorst. We're just getting linked with everyone again. United are just getting linked with everyone again, as they always do. They're constantly getting linked with teams with players. Oh, right, here we go. Here's United's justification here. Let's read it. Come on, hang on. Yeah. Hold on to that, 90. You hold on to that, son. It is a cup, so you never know what could happen. But I can predict. Sorry. I'm sorry to say it, but I think everyone's fairly resigned to Liverpool not really doing anything this season. Needs a bit of a rebuild. A wee bit of a rebuild, and it's funny because I think it's crept up on Liverpool like a little creepy crawly. Nobody saw it coming, really. But it needs a little bit of a rebuild. Midfield's not good enough. Defence is not good enough. And your striker's just not firing, your main one. Salah's just not on it. And you don't have a Mane anymore. Just needs a little bit of a rebuild. Every team goes through it, don't they? But it just seems that Klopp and etc. didn't see it happening because you were doing so well. But anyway, anywho, it could still happen. Of course it could, not. It could still happen. Oxford could still win it. They could come back from this, win this 3-2 in the next 15 minutes and go on and win it. That's what could happen as well. The same as just as much Liverpool could win the FA Cup, so could Oxford. They could come back and win that game 3-2. The whole city needs a rebuild. Could be a third for Arsenal, yeah. Yes. That is a top quality finish. That is very, very nice. Very good, very nice. And Ketia, a little dinky chip over the keeper. Ostend is a village about 10 miles from you. Okay. I haven't hit my own like Mandy. I'll smash it. Bosh. I've smashed it. I've smashed that like. Oh, there's 16 watching on number 16. That's good, isn't it? So number 16 on the Rum and Rants. So yeah, we didn't quite get the timing right on that for Daniel to come in because he's, like I said, he's just finished up. He said it'll be 5 o'clock by the time he finishes, which will be 10 o'clock. And obviously that's another half an hour. I'm not going to make you hang about for another half an hour. And he might not even be ready to come in. So I can maybe talk to him and we can organise that a bit better. We can organise that a little bit better. Because in our heads, that just worked. Yeah, you just come onto the stream when you finish. And tell us how you've been getting on. Tell us what your day was like. Did you? Yeah, that's what I said. That that's what the one of the best manager that ever lived did. The best manager that's ever managed in football. That's what he used to do. Doesn't matter whether they were winning. He just used to buy us another 2 or 3 players every season. Whether we just won everything, trebles that nobody else has won, he would still just go and get rid of players. Don't need him. Don't like what you said. Get out of the club. Let's get another 3 players. Just keep constantly rebuilding. It is a bit different now. It is a bit different now, isn't it? The climate's a bit different in terms of money and all the rest of it. The money's crazy now, isn't it? Crazy money for a footballer to go and play. Transfers and signing on fees and wages and all that, and bonuses for playing and goal bonuses, all the rest of it. It is a lot different now. Massively different. M1. That's the nearest motorway to is the M1 in the Netherlands. In Netherlands. Is it, Steve? The nearest motorway to me is the M54, which is very, very close. Not stones throwable, but very close. Not quite stony. It's just over there. Just over there, though. Oof. What was that all about? Didn't see what happened there. I was looking for a yellow card. He's looking for a card. The manager's looking for a card, everyone. M54 for me. Is it? Really? Well, there you go. James Hewitt Jr. Yeah, I know. It's funny that he still thinks his dad's Prince Charles or King Charles. He's clearly Hewitt's son. That's funny. I always say that as well. He's put some interview out, hasn't he? He's put some interview out. Like I said, I really don't pay attention to the rules at all. At all. I've no interest in them or what they're doing or whether they're fighting or whether he was going to punch him or blah, blah, blah. I've just heard this in the news today because the news is on the radio. T, very confused now. So if I had to swim... We've got all kinds of crazy names in this country for places. Daniel thinks it's hilarious, the street names. Because the end of my street's Close. You know, it's the number, then the name, and then Close. And he was going, Close. Close. I went, yeah, that's the street name. Like you get names with the names Close on the end. And then I was telling him all the others, like you can get a Nook and you can get Road and Lane and Street and all the other ones. And he was going, couldn't get that bit close. Yeah, we've got all kinds of crazy stuff going on here. Oof, that could nearly had a fourth there, Arsenal. I know, yeah, I know. Gonna go and play golf instead, Adam. You'll see him on a golf course soon. He wants to play. He wants to be a professional golfer, doesn't he? Is he not very good off scratch? He's off scratch, isn't he? So I'm sure you'll see him in the pro tour soon enough. He'll get his card. He's a scratch golfer. He wants to go and play golf, so let him play golf. We'll see how he gets on doing that. If he was any good, if he's half as good as golf as he is at football, he'll do all right in golf as well. That's the end of Wales football. Shoot uphill. That's a good one. Shoot uphill. There was one as I was walking on Christmas Day when I was walking to my brother and sister-in-law's to go and have dinner, right? It's up there on a new estate. So it was, and I was going to take a picture of the name for Daniel, the picture of the street name for Daniel, because it was so random and it's gone out of my head completely what that was called. But it was, even I looked at it and went, that's just a crazy street name. Who's come up with that street name? Some of these street names are hilarious. Just no one told him. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, he wants to play golf, doesn't he? He wants to go and play golf. That's not a secret. He's been making that quite clear for, as you say, 2 or 3 years. He's making quite clear he wants to go and play golf. So that's fine. Like I say, if that's what he enjoys doing, he's lost a bit of passion for football. His injuries have kept him out of the teams for a while. There's now the comparison between who's the best Welsh footballer. Is it him or Ryan Giggs? I think it's probably him. Giggs was pretty outstanding. But I think Bale was as outstanding and more powerful just more powerful, built more powerfully and stronger, and could maybe just run a bit quicker than Giggsy. Giggsy wasn't slow, by the way. If you ever watch Giggsy play, he was lightning fast as well. But I think Bale was a better player than overall. I think Bale was a better player than Giggs. There's not massive difference between them, but yeah, Bale for me. Bale for me, everyone. I don't know that somebody will. Adam, there's no names coming through, is there? There's normally a name coming through as one signs off for the next to come through. But you never know. You never know. Crack Pipe Alley. Yeah, is that where that is? Well, like I said, we did used to live near a place called Bell End. And we just used to drive there just to laugh at the sign, not even to take pictures of the sign because we didn't have camera phones at that point. But we did used to just drive, when we were 17 or 18, just drive. Shall we go to Bell End? Just so that we can say, when somebody says, what did you do last night? Oh, we went over to Bell End. Bell End. Hang on. Halvtolv and Nabolos. I know there's a thing, a little something across that. Oh, I know, but I'm not talking about stuff that they've won. That's not what I'm looking at. If you're looking at that, then yeah, Gareth Bale won quite a bit as well. By the way, he won a few leagues in at Real Madrid. Don't forget his time there. But in terms of winning stuff, yeah, Giggs you can't really argue with Giggs. He's won more than most people. But I think I'm talking about just in terms of playing. And there's not much between them. There's not much between them. I'm then just posing the question to myself there. If somebody said you can have Giggs or Bale, who would you have? In their pomp. Gareth Bale was unplayable in his pomp. Gareth Bale was unplayable. And I know Giggs wasn't far off unplayable, but just because I think Giggsy was just a bit more slight. It was because he was that sort of flying winger, wasn't he? Whereas Bale was the flying winger, but he was built as well. He's like the proverbial brick shithouse. Bell End in Bell Broughton. I can't remember where it was. It wasn't far. No, I can't remember where it was, Adam, but it wasn't far from where we were in King Swinford. That it was easy enough for us to drive to, just so we could drive past the sign and say we'd been to Bell End again. We've been to Bell End last night. I don't remember where it was. Can't think. But yeah, we just loved the sign. And like I said, it wasn't even because we had camera phones that we could take a picture of it. We just wanted to go to Bell End. Southall. Good old Southall. I never saw him run, though. Nick, I never saw him run. Was he fast? Bet that moustache weighed him down more than anything else. And that mullet. Giggs. All day. Yeah, no, I think I would probably still take Bale. But it wouldn't be much, there wouldn't be a lot of difference between them. I know, yeah. What a crazy thing that is. Did crap with Belgium, so go and be Portugal's manager instead. And he wants to sit down with all the players, including Ronaldo. Good luck with that one. Is he? Luke Harris? We'll see. Is he going to be a Giggs or a Bale, though? I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, but at 90, hopefully you might have learned something from us, isn't that? It's not just about being dedicated to your club. You've got to appreciate all footballers, haven't you, and what football is. You can't just be single-minded about your own team. You've got to embrace other teams. You get to an age where you do anyway. But that's why I can say Bale. I would take Bale over Giggs. But there's not a lot in it. There's not a lot in it. There's not a lot in it, everyone. Just a tiny little bit. He turned out to be quite a heft of a man in the end, didn't he, old Neville Southall? Bit of a heft of a man in the end, a heft of a goalkeeper. He certainly wasn't jumping about like the old proverbial cat anyway. Oxford trying to get a goal. Cockermouth, that's a good place. 12:30. Okay. He will tear you apart again. Giggs will tear you apart again. He just got You know, obviously I've watched gigs from when he came into the team. I'm old enough to have seen gigs come into the team, and he wasn't part of the team when I was, you know, as when I first started watching Man United. Giggs wasn't in the team. Giggs didn't exist in the team at that point, and neither did Lee Sharp. But it was Lee Sharp that came first. Lee Sharp was the first Ryan Giggs, by the way, and he's from Hal's Owen, everyone. And I've had him stand right in front of me when I worked at All Sports in the Merry Hill Centre. But yeah, I'd still take Bale. I'd still take Bale. Oh, you've got your lagging out of the way. That's good, Kirsty. It's just a crazy decision to put him in charge. I don't know why they've done that. No, I won't be doing any Rugby World Cup watch-alongs. Sorry, Adam. Not from me. It's a no from me. And you know what I was actually going to say with one of the things what I did today, which I've not done. I don't remember the last time I did it. After I'd finished all my bits of annoying paperwork, put the telly on. The telly. And I didn't watch anything live. I watched things that are recorded, which was The Apprentice. Love The Apprentice. And Dragon's Den. Just watch them. The telly. I didn't even look at my YouTube feed or see what was happening or who dropped videos or anything. Just watch the TV. And I think that's what I'm going to do again in about 5 minutes when we finish up here. I'm just going to watch the TV again. I've got loads of stuff that is recorded that I need to catch up with that I enjoy. So I'll be watching that. There'll be no YouTube at all for me today. Or Netflix or Prime. All normal TV for me tonight. How crazy am I? It's crazy. And to Karina, I've not seen her name. And has she gone off? Has she had to go off, Karina? I've not seen her in a name in there for a bit. Ha laggy clagger. Yes, Jesper Olsen, yes. And then we had his son as well. Oh no, I'm thinking of Jordi Cruyff. Thinking of Jordi Cruyff. Yeah, that jinky, little jinky. Well, they were talking about him going and being part of the team again, weren't they? Old Terry Henry. Oh, right. Okay, good. As long as she's still there. I know she was in when we started. Poo cakes. Poo cake. So, off the back of all of that, right, tomorrow, we'll maybe I'll talk to Daniel later and see if we can do it a bit later so that he can join us on the stream. Because I thought he would just be able to join us, but obviously he's not been able to because he's just finishing his job. And he did say 5 o'clock. It's just not clicked in my head that we've just not connected those times together. So we're obviously rum and rants. And Daniel was trying to work it in with him not doing any brew and banter this week. So it might be that we do a rum and banter every night this week. You know, so we'll go on the Tuesday, we'll go on the Wednesday and the Thursday, like it'll be the mix because it's the mix of the two. So that was the other thought as well. So it might be that we go live every night this week, but every night this week, that's a Arctic Monkeys lyric. But it might be the streamers might be a little bit later so that we can get Daniel on it because he's not finishing work till 5, or he said he'd be available for, because he then needs to go home and deal with his family and you know, do his things that he needs to do at home. And I like the idea of him coming on and telling us how he's been getting on with his day. So we might need to rearrange the times that we're going for. And I know that might not suit everyone to do a later one, but that might be what we need to do to get Daniel into the stream to see how he's getting on. And he will do some content, he said, for his channel on how they're getting on with the decking. And you've obviously said that Spencer's helping him, which I didn't pick up on at all when he's been talking about it. But we'll rum and rants again tomorrow. We'll probably do it all again this week. As always, everyone, thanks so much for coming in. Really enjoy. Look forward to these little, little sessions. What we've done, an hour and 20 minutes. Always look forward to it. Definitely not at the point where I'm going, oh, I need to go out and do this. And if I get to that, I'll tell you that, and I'll say I need to take a break or whatever. But I'm not. I look forward to coming in and seeing how you're all getting on. I love that you're all in before we even start rattling away to each other, and I love that you continue to rattle away to each other. And it doesn't need me to just interact with you. I know you're not there for Daniel, but it was just to help him out, and I thought it'd be interesting to see how he was getting on um, with his decking project. And I don't think it'll be on for the whole stream. He'll only be able to get on for some of the stream, but we'll talk about it. We'll work it out anyway. But yeah, nods again to the blue spanners as always. Thanks to you, and thanks to everyone for coming in. Good to see you. I hope you're all well, and I hope you all have a good day tomorrow. As you're going out the door, everyone, hit the like if you're not subscribed. I'm sure you are. Hit the subscribe. It's not raining. It's a little bit colder this evening though, so coats on. I would definitely say that. If you've got stuff that you need to do tomorrow, then just make sure it's nothing that